Hello again, everyone. I hope you're all doing very, very well out there. And, of course, there's a lot of things to talk about at this point in time. Because, first off, I got that retro video series episode of Highlander Out. And I imagine everyone's watched it by now because it's gotten over 1,000 views in less than a week. And this was very much showing the power of sharing the links around on different social media sites. Because not only did Ewan, who helped me out in the whole thing, who's at Laserdisc Turtle on Twitter, he shared the whole thing. A bunch of other people were sharing it. The official Highlander Facebook page shared it around. So it's like a lot of people were sharing the link around, getting a lot of different eyes on it, bringing a lot of other people in, and the thing just blew up like giving hell. So in a couple of days, that thing just shot up to like 800, 900 views, and it just creeped over a little bit into 1,000 in the last couple of days. Phenomenal. Just like one of the highest performing videos I've ever had. And that just shows, like, when people kind of jump on the board and start liking stuff and start throwing it around or whatnot, the algorithm here eats it the living hell up and just gets it out into suggestions, recommendations. Other people start watching it and getting eyes out there, here, there, and everywhere. So, phenomenal. Thank you extremely much if you helped out, whatnot, watched it, did any interactions on it, shared it around. Thank you so much. It's outperformed everything I can ever imagine being on the channel in a very long time. So thank you so very much about supporting that video so greatly. And this weekend we'll be releasing the commentary for John Carpenter's Prince of Darkness between Steve and myself. So I just got to get that prepped. Once I get this done and get that up on Patreon, and then it'll be out to you guys for the weekend. So we'll get out in that regard. And after that, we just settled on our next recording date, which will be about a week from Saturday, and we're going to be starting. We were hoping to do three commentaries for May. I'm not entirely certain if they will, probably, because Steve's going on a trip in the middle of the month, so maybe be back over right after he gets back, and get one more thing slotted in by the end of the month. So, in the least, we'll be recording commentaries for the original Dawn of the Dead, and a 30th anniversary commentary for Cliffhanger. So we got some Stallone and some Renee Harlan. So we get some variety in that regard. So we'll be watching my Sony 4K edition, which is the original 4K edition. I know there's a steelbook coming out that probably has Dolby Vision and some additional bonus features on it. So that's coming out at the very end of the month. So I won't be grabbing that in time or whatnot to have that involved with the presentation we'll be watching. And I know there's a completely different remaster done by Studio Canal overseas. I don't have that one. I kind of was thinking back and forth about maybe grabbing that because I know that they look completely different to certain degrees or whatnot. I think not everyone's completely sold on one or the other as a perfect restoration, but there's certain things about different ones that I'll have to do some research on and kind of talk about, and whatever the case is, to have other people chime in at that point in time. But we'll be watching the original 4K edition from Sony. So there's that, and we're hoping to get around another anniversary thing that kind of Steve was kind of throwing around here there for a while, on and off, was original Wrong Turn, which put out 20 years ago. So the anniversary dates for Cliffhanger and that really overlapped, or like a couple of days apart. So we'll be putting out Cliffhanger maybe mid-month, and then do Wrong Turn close to the end of the month. So it'll be a little bit more, a little loose on that regard in terms of the dates and whatnot. But everyone will be perfectly fine on that regard. So I still have to watch Wrong Turn. I think it's up on Plex. It was there a couple of weeks ago. I'll have to check and see where things are at this point in time. But I've got to watch all these things for the entire month. So I got some work to do on that, because I have the Dawn of the Dead Ultimate Edition DVD set, which has all three versions of the film, which I think we'll probably be watching from that, because I don't know if Steve probably has a version of the original or whatnot. But in regards to that, we'll probably be watching it from my DVD or whatnot. But anyway, we'll be watching the original U.S. theatrical cut, because I think that's just the widest nut to grab everyone. So everyone, any region you're in, you probably at least have access to that in some regard or whatnot. If you're going on streaming, if you have an old Blu-ray from like the old DivIMAX one that was sourced from whoever, whatever, usually is probably the widest available one we'll be able to talk about or whatnot. So we'll cover that. I don't know how much I'll get around to watching the other versions before the end of next week, but at least I'll try to do some research on them to kind of get a little bit of that into the conversation and some of the maybe slower points in the entire film. But in regards to that, so guys will be prepped for that. So we'll be doing Dawn of the Dead first and Cliffhanger after that. and see when Steve comes back from his trip, how we schedule things out and get things landed in that regard. So got a very short stack of media pickups here. Don't have a lot of stuff, but there's other things that kind of talk about in terms of what's coming up next on the channel as well. Because in terms of the movie Underworld, which is doing another anniversary this year, much later on in the year, 20 years or whatnot, but it's one of these films I've had the hardest time possible just slotting into the channel here, because I know it was maybe about 2014 or something else like that. I tried to shoot like a complete franchise video, which obviously didn't work out, because I was trying to shoot it at the time, and it's like, man, I'm going on with way too many different things in the entire thing. I'm only on the first film. I was probably like half an hour into the video. I was like, this is not going to work, and stuff like that. So I scrapped that at that time. Then in 2016, I was doing the Fright Night, the Lost Boys videos. I was going to do like a trilogy of vampire films, and that was kind of like, I kind of ran around trying to find the Blu-ray version of it. I did find it, but I didn't quite get up to doing it at that point in time. So it was like I kind of scrapped the idea of doing a third one and moved into some Schwarzenegger flicks at that point in time. So it's been one of these films like it's one of those films like I have such a mixed reaction to the entire thing and whatnot. It's a weird mediocre franchise. It's kind of hard to kind of slot in and kind of figure out what you want to talk about and deal with that type of stuff. So last night I shot most of the video, and the raw footage is about like 49 minutes long. Now that includes a lot of retakes I did, because I shot things and I'm like, oh, let me go back and kind of redo that a little bit better here, there, and everywhere. So there's a little leeway of several minutes in that regard or whatnot, but I still have kind of a end section still left to do to kind of wrap up my thoughts on the film and kind of talk a little bit of the rest of the franchise. So I'm kind of bouncing around here and there. I didn't feel quite up to doing the rest of it tonight, so I felt like I really want to get something out quick on the channel after following up from the retro video series stuff and kind of preview some of the things that got going on. So I felt like that was kind of like a nice break. I can get back to it like the next night or two and slot it in and then work on editing over the weekend, stuff like that. So I have shot most of the video. I did a lot of work on it. I didn't rewatch any other films. I thought last night was like, it was about 12:30 at night, so this was taking a long time to kind of get the grinding gears going forward on the whole thing. So I was like, I got to a point where I was like, I could maybe push through, but no, let me cut it off now, because maybe in the next whatever day or whatnot, when I get back around to this, maybe I'll end up watching one of the films, whatnot, films or whatnot, maybe Rise of the Lycans, which I haven't watched in like 10 years or something else like that. Anything, I don't know. It was just like, it was a good point to cut it off. I got far enough into it. I can stake a claim to something. I got most of it shot. I can reassess things and figure out where I want to go forward when I sort out all the files onto the computer and rip some other stuff that I need that I referenced in the video and whatnot. So I still got some other preparation to do before I get to editing. So day or two to kind of clear my thoughts, get myself fresh, and kind of go back and reshoot a piece or whatnot here or there and get the entire thing washed out and finished. So there's that. Working on that, and I'm really getting up on this entire Star Wars thing right now. I've been on a constant wave of just having that interest in myself. Want to get it up to doing this special edition trilogy video for the retro video series. I'm really kind of intent on getting to that, so I'm slotting it in somewhere. I don't know where. I have a lot of things to get up to research first before I can shoot it, so I don't know when, but it's going to happen sooner than later, anything like that. So I have done one thing. Because if you've been around the channel long enough, I did, in recent times, I did pick up, it was about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, something like that. I did grab up the Art of a New Hope, the special edition version. It was about, like I said, about maybe a year and a half ago, 2 years ago or something else like that. I grabbed this up off of wherever I got it from online. And so I got that, and then I got more recently, I don't know exactly when, maybe last couple of months, last year or whatnot. Got the one for Return of the Jedi, because like, okay, just get back up on this entire thing. So I got the one for A New Hope, Return of the Jedi, but my version for Empire is still the 1994 version I bought, roughly about 94 or 95 or whatnot. So I did secure a copy on eBay. It's taking forever to get here because I keep checking the tracking. You made a label on Monday, and it still hasn't gone anywhere yet, so I'm a little perturbed on that regard, but I'm still waiting. Luckily, I'm not jumping on the video that quickly, so I was like, I still have time to wait, but the fact of the matter is, this doesn't help me for talking about special editions, so I actually kind of felt like, yeah, I could, because this will point out a lot of the design stuff, the things they added to it, just further context, a little more interest and stuff falling down over here in regards to whatnot, but I felt like it was good. It would be a good opportunity, just an excuse to go through some of this stuff and kind of just research some more stuff on this whole thing. I think the special edition stuff is given its own separate section, these things. I'd have to check because I haven't looked through these things at all. But I think there is a particular, if there is anything, I don't know if there's doesn't seem to be like an index or anything. Yeah, that certain section labeled for the special edition, so I can just go through those sections to see what they designed, what the input was from all the designers, the concept artists, everyone on ILM and whatnot, so I can talk about that stuff, and things are just falling all over the place around here. But One for Empire is on its way. Something here or there. And tonight, I was kind of thinking back and forth in my head. I didn't really need it for this video, but I have the 4K editions, which has a selection of bonus features that are from some old stuff and some stuff they produced new for those versions, but it doesn't have all the bonus features from the original 2011 Blu-ray set. I figured last night I was thinking about it, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'll go ahead and buy it. I ordered it for about under $12 on eBay, and the shipping on the one, I chose the one specifically that I got for it, that I ordered from, was a very fast shipping turnaround, saying it was maybe here between Saturday and Monday, or aired towards Monday in that regard, but considering the Art of Empire special edition book is taking me so long, I wouldn't mind getting something pretty quick. So that's on order. Like I said, there's nothing really on there I particularly need for the special edition stuff that's really all majorly contained to the Laserdisc set I have, but I figure, let me just grab it. I want to have it. I have a whole private playlist of Star Wars video archive that I have for stuff just to watch on my own, or stuff that might aid in the video edits that I'm working on. So I have stuff. I just want to have this stuff, and then I have everything I could possibly need, anything like that. So that's all covered very nicely in that regard. So I got that on order and all that type of stuff. So what else is there? So one of the upcoming commentaries we have going on will be for going back into some Stephen King stuff, was Sometimes They Come Back. Now, this is from Tom McLaughlin, who gave us Jason Lives, Friday the 13th, Part 6. It's got some good cast here. It's got Brooke Adams, who was in The Dead Zone. She's also in Invasion of Body Snatchers 78. Robert Russler from, I think, Weird Science, of course, Freddy's Revenge. And William Sanderson, good actor, and various other things. So, because of certain talent on this whole thing, and I haven't watched it in like 20 years, but I decided to grab it and whatnot. This is just the DVD version from Olive Films. It's the most recent DVD version. They did put out a Blu-ray, but the Blu-ray was about like $17, $18, and it's completely bare bones. And I felt like, yeah, I can get it. I can go ahead with just a DVD copy of this thing. Sadly, the first eBay one I ordered from, which had pictures of this edition specifically, sent me the wrong version. Sent me the old Trimark one, which was a 4x3 full-frame version of it. I said, no thank you. Sent me the wrong one, so I sent back for a refund and ordered this one immediately and got this one, and it's the right version inside and out. So there's also one from MGM that was about 2006 or something like that. It's also widescreen, but I felt this was the best. I was trying to find some information about which one might be the better quality one, but fuck how you're going to find freaking DVD reviews from a release in 2015. I had nothing to base it on, so I figure from the same master as the Blu-ray, so it's probably going to be at least on that comparable level towards standard def. I figure that's a fine version to go for, and so on and so forth. So we'll be talking about that thing probably about June or something like that. We'll see where that lands, because I want to get back to Stephen King stuff in due time. But let me talk to you about the fact that I actually took a week off. I was actually off of work for about 9 days straight, and this is the first time I've actually taken any kind of like a extended paid time off in, I don't know, 8 years or something like that, because just the way things have worked out. in the last 8 years, last like 6 or 7 years, I just become a lot more busy with the channel because we started up doing commentaries and doing other things and piling more things on and trying to do more stuff. So it was always a more difficult thing to just kind of like take the time off, because I would use a paid time off here, a paid time off there, just kind of fill in the blanks of certain things here and there. And last couple of years were a little bit more on a chaotic reign or whatnot to kind of go out and have a good time. So I actually took the time off, and it was actually mostly a pretty nice weather week. So the main thing is I had the first 2 days, I got the retro video series episode done and put it up on Patreon just in time for me to go off to go to the Field Museum of Natural History in Chicago. This is the first time I've been here since 2014. And it was kind of a nice type of thing. Obviously, if you went on my Instagram and if you're one of my Facebook friends, you saw a lot of photos I posted. And one of the first things I posted was like, live from the set of 1997's The Relic. Because that's where The Relic was set, and they shot a lot of things there. More exteriors and a couple of interiors, but more exteriors. A lot of stuff was done on sound stages and the whole thing, but the main foyer and stuff like that and the exteriors of the whole thing look almost exactly the same, and it's a phenomenal place. I really, really enjoyed being there. I was able to get there and not have to pay for garage parking or anything like that a lot. I actually got a metered spot, so I could save a lot of money and not break the bank or anything like that. And of course, this was one of the days where they had free admission if you were an Illinois resident, so got in free. I was there for about, 4 hours or something like that. Maybe about 3 or so hours inside the place, and then some other stuff outside of it, whatnot. But I just really enjoyed going out there because I hadn't really taken this trip out the city in forever and ever. And so I just had a really good time. I saw all the dinosaur stuff. I looked at a lot of the exhibits in that regard, read up on a lot of different things they had at the different stationing of all the different things they had. Last time I was there, because they have Sue the T-Rex dinosaur and everything like that, and last time I was there, they had her up out the big, or whatnot, the big open area, the welcoming entrance or whatnot. This time they actually had Sue out in this entire exclusive exhibit area, and it was really cool because they had a lot of different things in terms of they're showing you photographs and video images and stuff like that, telling you the history of the find and the architects, the archaeology and whatnot that went off to study it and find it and bring it into the Field Museum and all the different stuff. A real timeline of the history of the whole thing. Just great stuff. Really informative stuff. I really enjoyed how they presented everything. It was very cool type of stuff. I went through a couple other exhibits. I went back down to the ancient Egypt stuff, kind of looked at all the sarcophaguses and whatnot. But all the stuff they had there from all the relics and all the stuff they had and all the informative stuff they had about the burials and all the different things, kind of debunking a few myths here and there and stuff like that. So cool stuff in that thing. And they also had this nice Tibetan sort of gallery or whatnot, just like clothings and some other cultural things. And that whole thing is like really nice things to kind of just expose yourself to and dig in and visit and whatnot. So that's just really cool stuff to kind of delve into. So if you're ever in Chicago, I really highly recommend going to it. It's a really phenomenal building to get a lot of culture. And if you want to pay for some additional exhibits, you can do that and see other things here and there. But I just had the general admission. So a few things I wasn't able to go see and whatnot, but I really got a full experience there. I really had a fun time and a whole bunch of different things going on. I had some problems with the vending machines because thankfully they had like 20 vending machines in different areas because some of them were not taking my freaking debit card or whatnot, but eventually I found one. I had a nice snack or whatnot and stuff like that. It's just really cool. And I went outside afterwards just seeing the Lakeshore and all the different sites there. Cool type of things. Like I was like, when I was kind of going back around outside or whatnot, I went back around the Shed Aquarium, went back around the Adler Planetarium. The thing was, I clicked in my head, is like, Michael Mann shot a scene from Thief back around the Adler Planetarium. It's like, okay, yeah, this would be kind of a nice, cool thing to kind of share whatnot, to kind of clip some similar shots from the whole thing. It's mainly from the scene from the director's cut after the opening heist. There's just an entire, like, Breaking Dawn type of thing where James Caan's walking around the Lakeshore and everything, and that's exactly where he shot the whole thing, and that's a really cool type of image from that version of the film and everything. I really wanted to share that. And also, I watched the Apple TV Plus series last year, Shining Girls, which had Elizabeth Moss. I thought it was a phenomenal series. And they actually shot a lot of stuff around the Adler Planetarium, so I shot a lot of pics or whatnot right around the whole thing right before my time expired, my meter or whatnot. But the fact is, Chicago's got a great app where you can actually do all that stuff remotely. You can refresh your time on the meter by just having your own account and the whole thing, registering your license plate number and the actual meter location you're at and everything. You can just refresh the thing remotely. So it was phenomenal. Because back in 2014, when I did my trip there, because I went to the Field Museum, then I went all the way over, walking to Grant Park and Millennium Park, and then had to walk all the way back over, but I was at a metered spot where we didn't have that thing. You had to feed the meter directly, and I was running out of time walking this whole way, so it's like a 4-mile walk round trip. And I couldn't stop for fucking like 5 seconds to rest or anything like that, so I was sore the entire week I was off. So that was the thing. But that trip in 2014 inspired me to actually follow up and do a review video on Jurassic Park, because I just had the theme running through my head the whole week because I was at the dinosaur exhibit and everything. So regardless of that did motivate that. But obviously the commentary you should definitely check out if you have it, because it's a lot more up-to-date, a lot more fuller examination of that film. So great stuff. It was just really great to go out to the entire thing. I'd really like to go back to the Shed Aquarium because I haven't been there since 2016. That'd be the next place I'd want to go. So I'm kind of waiting for their set of free admission days, because it took me about an hour to get out there during the day or whatnot. So there's a bit of a haul and stuff like that. And if you end up having to go into a parking garage or one of the lots or whatnot, you're going to pay about $25, $30. So kind of nice to go there on a free day, so you're kind of saving some money depending on where you're going to end up in terms of the parking. So the parking meter or whatnot, the spot I got was super lucky because there weren't a lot around. So I just happened upon it and just like, damn straight. So there was that whole thing. And then the next night is the big thing. Another big thing is the fact that I went to the Star Trek Picard IMAX finale screening event. That was incredible. That was incredible. It was a theater 20 minutes away from here. There were only 10 theaters nationwide that were showing it, so I was lucky enough that they didn't have it in someplace downtown or some other place that was a lot further away. It was a 20-minute drive from where I am, and this was phenomenal. One, the thing looked incredible. Showing it in IMAX blew the hell away from what I was looking at on Paramount Plus on my TV. It looked brighter, more detailed, more vibrant. It looked phenomenal because IMAX has that quality to spare. And so it was just phenomenal. Just seeing both the final 2 episodes up there, it was great. And I had gone to the Star Trek The Next Generation Fathom events when they were releasing the Blu-rays. And they did screenings. I did the screenings they had for Q-Who and Measure of a Man, and then they did, after that, Best of Both Worlds. So the fact of the matter is, the fact that a lot of stuff from this season is very much kind of a continuation of that original episode and First Contact and various other things. It felt very appropriate. The last time I saw this crew on the big screen was that Best of Both Worlds screening, and now I got to see this whole thing, and it was just remarkable. I did kind of promise that I would do a full season review after the end of the whole thing, but after that screening and sitting through the Q&A, so I was there for about 3 hours and change, I was just kind of burned. I hit max capacity. I just could not deal with it anymore. Also, the fact is, after I got home and kind of settled in, there were some weird power issues we were having at the house. We had to call ComEd the next day, and there was some weird line that got tripped out there or whatnot, and it was causing all kinds of problems. So I didn't sleep very well the next night. I got like 5 hours of sleep, so I wasn't feeling great to kind of be energized to do things. And plus the fact I couldn't really do anything when the power was kind of going in and out through half the house. So I was kind of derailed. I was kind of burned. I don't want to say burned out in a bad way. I was just kind of like, I just had this major catharsis. I just need some time to decompress for the whole thing. As I haven't gone back and rewatched the entire thing, I've just been just kind of like letting it go, whatnot. But I did buy the soundtrack on iTunes, which sounds phenomenal. 2.5 hours worth of music for the entire season is absolutely killer, because they used some music from James Horner, Jerry Goldsmith. They are honoring that type of stuff and weaving new things in on top of it. Beautiful type of stuff. So just like, I don't know if I will do a video on it or whatnot. No one's really been asking for it. The mid-season review video did not perform extremely well. I got less than 200 views on it, so no one's really chipping at the bit for me to actually follow up on the whole thing. But you'll be damn certain I'll be buying a 4K Blu-ray on this whole thing. I know they're putting out a 4K for Strange New World Season 1, which I've watched here and there. I'm not in love with it. I do love certain parts of it. I'm not in love with it overall. But it's still a very good series. So I know that they're putting out a 4K for that. So eventually they'll put out 4K, I believe, for Picard Season 3. So very much on top of that. And so on and so forth. So after that, things just kind of wound down for the next couple of days or whatnot. And we record commentaries. Did we record? What are we doing? I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. We recorded the commentaries the week before. The Saturday before. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I don't know. Shit's fucked up in my brain right now. Yeah, the next couple of days just kind of wound down and stuff like that. I didn't do anything in particular or whatnot. I was trying to get up on the Underworld stuff. I watched the movie, made all my notes, and I just kind of like didn't quite feel up to actually shooting it yet. So here and there and everywhere, I kind of put it off until the next day off and stuff like that. So, but it was really good to get all that time off to really kind of relax. I didn't get really bored or whatnot. I got a little tired because of the sleep deprivation at a time or two, but really good type of stuff. It was really nice to just have the time off. It was just great. It was just really, really nice to do that, have the outings I did. Did have the comic book store, which I have some minor things here that I haven't read through everything yet, and I didn't go out. I did go out today. There is some stuff I want to pick up this week because there's a new issue of Action Comics, and they're starting a new Green Arrow series, which I think just... It was going to be a 6-issue miniseries. I think I heard it was expanded out to 12. So I'm kind of interested in that because it's the same person, Joshua Williamson, I think it is, who's been doing... Yeah, he's been doing on the Superman book, which is this is issue 3 again. This wrapped up the Parasite arc I was talking about before, and so perfect. Everything was just absolutely perfect in tone and everything like that. Just like everything's so good. The characterizations are so absolutely spot on. You can feel the love for the material and the characters bursting right the hell out of this whole thing. Is wonderful. It's a wonderful book. I definitely highly recommend this new Superman series from Joshua Williamson. And I think it's Jamal Campbell doing the art. The art looks wonderful. Just let me see if I can grab a really cool pen or whatnot. Something else like that, but anything here and there, but let me just throw up a random thing. But there's some really just beautiful pieces of artwork in this whole thing. Everything's so good. I mean, it's just a really just heartwarming, phenomenal read. It just, if you like Superman, this is just bursting with everything you would love about Superman. Perfect. Same thing I'm saying about Action Comics. It just the fact that that's exponential to a certain degree because it's encompassing the entire super family to a degree. But this is wonderful. Like I said before, if you love that old DC animated universe stuff, this is exactly that vibe you want. So there's that. And I didn't read through this yet. Same with the other thing I have here, but because I was just grabbing up this, but I was like, let me see if I can just buy something else. I feel weird just buying one comic at the store or whatnot. So I did grab up this new Batman Spawn expanded one shot or whatnot. It's called like a #1 issue or whatnot. But regardless of that, I haven't read through any of this. But I figure, you know what, maybe I'll give this a shot. Maybe I'll give this a shot. It's only $6.99. This is a second pressing one, but I decided to go. I kind of favored the one that was more Spawn-based cover or whatnot, because they have one that's more kind of the reverse image where Spawn is being down here, down to whatnot, and Batman's up here. But I felt like I kind of like this one a little nicer or whatnot. But I'll tap on it a little bit. Written by Todd McFarlane, but penciled by Greg Capullo, who did a lot of that stuff where I was talking about that initial Batman Scott Snyder arc with the Court of Owls and stuff like that. So I knew it's always going to be something that I would visually be very much interested in. And I got the Nightwing Rebirth Volume 3, Nightwing Must Die. And this is, like I said, the last two installments I've absolutely loved them. So I'll be getting around to this soon enough. I'm just kind of wading through things here and there. I'm just trying to get back around to certain things, get into the vibes and whatnot, but all up on this whole thing. And want to get out to reading that. And there's various other things. The only other piece of media I picked up, and this is right at the beginning, right when my entire week was starting, is that I grabbed up the new Metallica album. And fuck all, man. I wasn't sure upon the first listen if I was really going to fall in love with it, but the fact is I just kept listening to it over and over and over again. 72 seasons. Grab the CD. It's killer, man. It's really killer. I love the fact that Metallica really knows how to do physical media releases. I mean, there goes my booklet or whatnot, but because I remember when I grabbed up like the last Alice in Chains album on CD, is like there's not even a booklet here. It's just like a bare bones freaking digipack. Like, why'd I even bother buying the physical release? There's nothing fucking in here. So it's like I'm glad Metallica really knows their fan base and really puts that effort into even a CD release. I know they're big on the vinyl stuff. The fact that they own their own freaking factory that presses the goddamn vinyls says a lot in that regard, but they really put the effort into this thing. This is all very much comparable to what the vinyl release is in terms of packaging. So they very much put that effort forward, and the fact that this thing it fucking kills, man. It's incredible. I loved all the singles on the whole thing they put out and the videos and whatnot at first, but I just keep going back through this and stuff like that. I put a couple of things in my regular playlists. I'm just vibing all over this whole thing. It's phenomenal. Excellent type of stuff. I've never seen them live. I've never been to a concert. And I was looking at the stuff for the one that's coming up. They're not coming to Chicago for another year and a half. Not until August of next year. And the fact is, the concert they're doing, the tour they're doing is novel to a certain degree. They're having 2 dates per city, and each date are completely different set lists. You'll not repeat a single song in either set list. You get completely 2 different shows. Originally, they're selling them as pairs, and it was very expensive. And then, and it was just like price above where I want to. And they're going to be doing Soldier Field here in Chicago, which is a big old freaking place. But they're charging a lot of money for the cheapest tickets. And I was like, I can't do it. I really can't justify it. I love to see the guys live. I just can't pony up that kind of cash for what they're asking for. It was just priced way above where I could go for and stuff like that. They eventually did single date tickets, stuff like that, but I don't know. I'm not plopping down money for tickets for something that's not going to happen for like another 16 fucking months. So I can't do that. At this point in time, I can't justify buying it that far out because fuck knows what's going to be happening in 16 months from now. But anything else like that, few minor notes, few minor extra notes, and then certain regards whatnot, is that I was chatting with name drop here, Bernardo up on Twitter. He'll be talking about this and whatnot. But we were seeing news coming out of CinemaCon. We're doing all the stuff for the critics and like previewing for the theater owners, stuff like that. And the news dropped about that new fucking Exorcist trilogy from David Gordon Green, and we both kind of cursed it off. But it got me kicked back into my brain and whatnot. It's like I gotta get around to these Exorcist movie reviews, at least the first one and a rejects of the third one. And I've been thinking back around about getting back into audiobooks because I did listen back to the Shadows of the Empire audiobook last week, partly on my trip in and out of the city. And I want to go back. I want to go off and listen to the Thrawn trilogy from Timothy Zahn from back in the 90s. I want to tap into it because they redid all the audiobooks for the 20th anniversary or whatnot. So they did unabridged versions of them before they're very truncated to a certain degree. They have much more fuller versions and whatnot. So they redid everything. So I'm kind of interested in doing that, but also kicked in my brain, I did want to listen to at least the audiobook of Legion. So I found out they did finally do an audiobook version of it a couple of years ago because I was putting things on hold doing an Exorcist 3 Redux, because I was like, I really kind of want to delve into the book, but I'm not really a book reader. I'm an audiobook type of guy, and once they actually did the audiobook about 3 years ago, I've had it like on an Amazon wish list, but I was like now thinking, okay, I want to get back into the Star Wars audiobooks. If I'm going to do this stuff for the Blatty stuff, I want to go listen to the audiobook for The Exorcist, for Legion. Yeah, I think I'll get an Audible subscription and re-up on that whole thing, because I was like, I didn't want to get just for the Star Wars stuff. I was like, I'm batting back around whether I want to buy them outright or want to just go do the subscription stuff here, there, and everywhere. If they're going to throw the Exorcist stuff in there, yeah, because I partially listened to two of them for 2 audiobooks for Clive Barker stuff. When I did the Lord of Illusions Redux one, and then when we went going into doing the Hellraiser commentary, I didn't get very far into that audiobook. I got about at least halfway into the Last Illusion audiobook. So I kind of did my free trial months on Audible on both of those, so I didn't really pay for it. But since you get like your first one free or whatnot, you get to keep that. I still have those. So I can circle back around and do some audiobooks to feed into some content I want to do here on the channel or stuff like that. I'm completely on for it. So I'll probably be tapping into some of that stuff. So I've got to get this stuff done because, again, this is like the 50th anniversary of the original Exorcist, so I've got to do it. I've got to do it. So, obviously, they showed a trailer for this new fucking Gordon Green Exorcist thing. I'm not going to see this thing. There's no fucking way I'm seeing this. No way. I haven't even seen the trailer. I just know the fact that he's doing it with the same fucking screenwriters. Danny McBride, Scott Teems, the same people to give you Halloween Kills. Not a fucking chance. If Blatty's not writing your Exorcist film, don't fucking bother making it. And William Peter Blatty is not with us anymore. He passed away in 2017. So, that's just my thing. If Blatty's not writing it, it ain't worth a damn. So, there's that. So I'm not going to, there's no way you're dragging me kicking and screaming in this whole thing. Not a chance. No fucking way. We already hit it enough going through those 3 Halloween films. I ain't going through another set of fucking horror films from this guy. No chance, no way. But I will go back and watch the Blatty stuff. No problem for reviews sometime later this year. So, almost pin it on your board. I'm making it more of a priority and stuff like that. So, that's all I have to say at this point in time. So that's everything I have here, everything I have to talk about. I'll be working to get on the Underworld thing in due time. I'll let you guys know, update you on those social media stuff on the community tab here on YouTube, where things are going, and here, there, and everywhere. So look forward to the Prince of Darkness commentary this weekend, and I'll update you guys as we go along into further production of other things going on. So definitely big on my Star Wars stuff right now, the kind of old legacy legends type of stuff. I want to get into that more and dig into that here, there, and everywhere. So thank you so much, guys, for making the Highlander video such a major success, and hopefully you'll stick around and watch other things here. There's so many other things to enjoy and look at our different things, and just thank you so very much. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.